While out with her friends, she chuckled. He's too terrified to ever walk away from me. He'd crumble without me. Her friends nodded in agreement, their eyes flickering toward me with a mix of amusement and pity. I stayed silent, sipping my drink, letting the moment pass. The following week, I accepted a job offer in a different city, packed my belongings, and left without a single word. Weeks later, when she returned, ready to plead for my forgiveness, she stood frozen, staring at a stranger living in my old apartment. The end of our relationship didn't come with a fiery argument. It was sealed with a soft, self-assured laugh in a bustling, crowded bar. My girlfriend, Lisa, was the center of attention among her friends, a group of women who treated life like an endless happy hour. I lingered on the outskirts, cradling a beer, playing the role of the quiet, dependable boyfriend. It was a part I'd mastered over our 2 years together. They were gossiping about a recent breakup in their circle. The guy had apparently fallen apart, and one of Lisa's friends remarked how pitiful it was. That's when Lisa jumped in. She took a dainty sip of her martini, glanced in my direction, and gestured vaguely toward me. "Oh, that'd never happen with us," she said, her voice carrying over the chatter. "He's too scared to leave me. He'd be lost without me." She laughed, a sharp, confident sound. Her friends nodded and giggled along, as if she'd just stated an undeniable truth. They glanced at me, not with cruelty, but with a condescending certainty. I was the safe, predictable guy, the introvert who worked from home and didn't have much of a life outside her orbit. To them, Lisa was the star, and I was just a minor satellite revolving around her. I didn't react. I didn't argue or defend myself. I just sat there, taking a slow sip of my beer. But deep inside, something shifted. A cold, clear realization settled in. It was like the moment after a collision, when the chaos fades, and you can see every shard of debris scattered around you. She didn't just believe I relied on her. She reveled in it. My perceived fragility was her strength, her assurance of control. For 2 years, I'd shaped my life around her. I'm a lead data engineer for a major tech company, a demanding job I handle remotely. I'm naturally reserved, preferring meaningful conversations with a few close friends over noisy gatherings. Lisa had mistaken my quiet nature for weakness, my preference for calm evenings as proof of dependence. She saw herself as my entire world, the tether keeping me grounded in a life I was too shy to create on my own. In that moment, her words didn't just sting, they liberated me. She had revealed the fatal flaw in our relationship, and I'm nothing if not a problem solver. I stayed for another half hour playing my role. Then I leaned over, brushed a kiss on her cheek, and said I was tired and heading home. She barely acknowledged me, waving me off with a distracted, "All right, babe, don't wait up," already engrossed in another anecdote. I left that bar, not as her loyal boyfriend, but as a man plotting a strategic overhaul of his own life. She thought I'd collapse without her. She was about to learn I'd been the one holding her up all along, and I was ready to walk away and let her face the consequences of her own assumptions. She thought I was too afraid to leave. She didn't realize I was already gone. Update 1. 1 week later, it's been a week since I walked out of that bar and into a new chapter. To Lisa, it probably feels like I'm sulking, giving her the cold shoulder in some petty standoff. In reality, it's been the most focused and purposeful week of my life. Thanks to those who commented on my last post. The advice to go completely silent was spot on. No drama, no confrontation, just a methodical, quiet exit. The moment I got home from the bar, I opened my laptop. For the past year, I'd been declining offers from recruiters. They'd reached out with opportunities in tech hubs like Denver, Boston, and Charlotte. I'd always said no, thinking I was building a life here with her. One recruiter, a woman from a leading firm in Denver, had been particularly persistent. She'd pitched me a role leading a data systems team at a fast-growing tech startup, a significant step up in both responsibility and salary. I found her email from a few months back. It was midnight on a Saturday, but I typed, "Hi Rachel, hope you're doing well. Is that director role in Denver still available? I'd like to discuss it further. Best, Ryan." Her reply came in under 15 minutes. "Ryan, great to hear from you. Yes, it's still open. Can we talk Monday?" While Lisa was sleeping off her drinks, I was laying the groundwork for the biggest move of my career. The interviews took place over the next 2 days via video calls. They were rigorous, technical, and exactly the kind of challenge I thrive on. By Wednesday evening, I had an offer letter in my inbox. The salary was 35% higher than my current pay, with a generous signing bonus and stock options. I signed and returned it within the hour. My start date was the following Monday. I had 5 days to relocate my entire life to another state. This is where my knack for systems thinking came in. My job involves untangling complex problems, and my personal life was just another puzzle to solve. First, the apartment. I own my condo, purchased before I met Lisa. She paid a token amount for rent each month, barely enough to cover her share, which she mostly spent on designer bags and brunches anyway. She had no legal claim to the place. Next, I called my younger brother, Jake, and his wife, Emily. They'd married 8 months ago and were squeezed into a tiny apartment outside the city, scraping by to save for a home. They're two of the kindest, most genuine people I know. I laid it out plainly. I'm moving to Denver for a new job. I leave Sunday. I want you and Emily to move into my condo. The furniture, the electronics, everything's yours. Live here rent-free as long as you need to save for your house. Just cover the utilities and fees. Consider it my wedding gift. Jake was stunned. He thought I was pranking him. When he realized I meant it, his voice cracked with gratitude. He and Emily came over the next day to see the place, now as their new home. Watching them beam at each other, planning where their things would go, was one of the best moments of my life. It was proof I was making the right call. Then came the logistics. I hired a cross-country moving company. I packed only what I needed: clothes, books, my tech gear, and a few personal keepsakes. The rest, the high-end furniture, the stainless steel appliances, the massive flat screen, I left for Jake and Emily. I arranged for Lisa's belongings to be packed up. Every dress, every pair of heels, every cosmetic item went into boxes. I rented a storage unit nearby and paid for 3 months up front. The movers delivered her things there. All the while, Lisa was texting me. Her messages started irritated. "Are you seriously ignoring me?" Then turned angry. "This is so childish, Ryan. Just talk to me." And finally, faintly worried, "Okay, I'm starting to get concerned. Are you all right?" I didn't reply. I muted her notifications. On Saturday, the day before I left, I tied up loose ends. I had the condo's locks changed. I wrote a brief letter, placed it in an envelope with the storage unit key, access code, and address. I also included a check refunding every cent of rent she'd paid me over the years. I wanted no trace of her money in my life. I left the envelope with the building's front desk, with instructions to hand it only to Lisa. On Sunday morning, the movers took my things. Jake and Emily arrived with their own boxes soon after. I gave them their new keys, walked them through the home systems, and pointed out the bottle of wine I'd left in the fridge for them. We shared a hug, and I wished them the best. Then I drove my car 1,000 miles to Denver. I didn't look back. Lisa thought I was too timid to challenge her. She had no clue I just disassembled our shared life and built a new one 1,000 miles away, all without a single word to her. She thinks I'm still nearby, sulking in my condo. She's about to face the shock of her life. She thought I'd fall apart without her. I didn't. I just left. Final update. 1 month later, it's been a month since I settled in Denver, and it's been the most fulfilling month of my life. My new job is phenomenal. Demanding, engaging, and surrounded by brilliant colleagues. I've rented a sleek apartment in the heart of the city and started exploring my new surroundings. The quiet from my old life has been blissfully serene. But I knew the calm wouldn't last forever. It broke last night, and I got a first-hand account of the fallout from my brother Jake. He called me around 9 p.m., his tone a mix of humor and astonishment. "Man," he said, "you won't believe what just went down." He then shared what had happened over the past few weeks from his perspective. Apparently, Lisa showed up at the condo about 3 weeks ago, after I'd been gone for a week. The front desk handed her my letter. Jake said he wished he could have seen her reaction when she opened it. Her entire world had vanished. She went to the storage unit and found her pile of belongings. She tried calling me, but I'd already changed my number. She emailed me, but I set up a filter to delete her messages unread. She was completely cut off, left in the dark. According to a mutual friend still in touch with her, she was furious at first. She told everyone I'd lost it and disappeared in some dramatic breakdown. She played the wronged partner, milking the sympathy. But her story started unraveling when her friends noticed she was suddenly without a home or money. The free meals, the luxurious condo, the endless flow of my support. It was all gone. Without it, her appeal to them faded. She had to crash with a friend, a temporary setup that was clearly wearing thin. She spent weeks convincing herself I'd done this to punish her, that I'd eventually come crawling back, because surely I couldn't survive without her. That led to last night. She decided it was time for her grand gesture. A tearful, heartfelt apology. She showed up at the condo, now Jake and Emily's, ready to pour her heart out. Forgive me for my cruelty, and take me back to fix everything. Jake said they were watching TV when a loud knock interrupted them. He opened the door to find Lisa, her eyes already glistening, her face set in a mask of practiced sorrow. She'd rehearsed her speech perfectly. Without even looking at Jake, she stared into the apartment, expecting to see me. "Ryan," she began, her voice breaking artfully. "I know I messed up. I was wrong. Can we please talk? I'll do anything. I need you." Jake, a warm, easygoing guy, was utterly confused. He had no idea who this emotional stranger was. Sorry," he said. "I think you've got the wrong place. I'm Jake." Lisa's performance screeched to a halt. She finally looked at him, then past him, noticing the changes, the framed photo of Jake and Emily on the table, the new cushions on the sofa, a pair of women's sneakers by the door that weren't her style or size. "What?" she stammered. "Where's Ryan? This is his place." "Oh, Ryan's my brother," Jake said brightly. "He moved to Denver a month ago for a new job. He's letting my wife and me stay here while we save for a house. It's such a generous gift." At that moment, Emily appeared at the door, curious about the commotion. She's a kind, grounded woman, the opposite of Lisa in every way. She smiled warmly at the bewildered woman on their doorstep. Jake said Lisa's expression was unforgettable, a mix of shock and devastation as her carefully constructed narrative collapsed. The story she'd clung to, that I was nearby, moping and waiting for her to rescue me, was a lie. I wasn't hiding in despair. I was 1,000 miles away, thriving. I hadn't just left her. I'd replaced her life in my home with a better one, for people I truly valued. The final blow was realizing I hadn't just walked away from her. I'd handed over the entire lifestyle she thought belonged to her. My home, my furniture, my stability, to my brother and his wife as a gift. "He's in Denver?" she whispered, barely audible. "Yep, loving it there," Jake said. "He's doing amazing." Lisa stood frozen for a moment, her face blank, the rehearsed tears gone. She'd built her identity on the belief that I was weak, that she held all the power. In one conversation, on one doorstep, that illusion was shattered. She wasn't the one in charge. She was just a stranger standing outside a happy couple's home. She didn't say another word. She turned and walked away. Jake said he and Emily felt a twinge of sympathy, but mostly they were stunned by how meticulously I'd orchestrated my departure. I ended the call and gazed out at the Denver skyline from my balcony. I felt nothing for Lisa. No anger, no regret, not even triumph. Just a deep, unshakable peace. She thought I'd fall apart without her, but she had it all wrong. I had to leave her to become whole, and I've never felt more complete.